Welcome, everybody, to the Snapped podcast. My name is Tyler Kluver, and let's consider this a personal audio journal of mine. A lot of rambling, a lot of random stuff, anything relevant in my personal life that has to do with health, fitness, diet, business, being an entrepreneur, and simply trying to unlock the avenues of personal growth that help me find the most happy, fulfilling, and free life that I can live. I hope that you guys can take something away from the show and maybe find some entertainment in it as well. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get to it. Let's get to it. Here we are. Here we go. The episode I didn't want to do, but I have to do, which runs with the theme of what we're going to be talking about. And that is a hard reset. You've seen the title. You're probably curious what that means. And we're going to talk about it a little bit. And this is an episode that is relevant to myself, uh, relevant to my own training, um, and probably eventually relevant to everybody at some point in their life, their fitness journey, or even some other things. It could be family life, work. As many topics on this show go, this could be pertinent to other things as well. So, hard reset. We've been talking the last few weeks about some specific topics. Podcast has been going well. You're getting this one a day later, again, a week in time from the last one, but still on Thursday. At this point, this is a Wednesday or Thursday podcast. Thursday for the last 2 weeks, and that's all right. I think I mentioned briefly on the last episode or the episode before that. I don't remember. About how I had been sick. I got a pretty bad cough. I would even go as far to say that it might have been a short bout of COVID. I lost smell and taste for a couple days. Although that would have been a much less severe case of COVID than the one I had before. The first time I had COVID, it was months before my smell fully returned and 6 weeks before my taste returned. So, this last time, a couple weeks ago, it was basically over the course of a weekend. Regardless, not important. I was sick. I was kind of down and out. Workouts weren't going great. Talked about how I felt shitty, and I was like, "What's going on?" I finally figured out that I was getting sick. That affected me for about a week. Then I felt good for about a week as far as health went, but I started to significantly notice, um, probably about the time I was coming out of having the head cold and the stuffy nose and the sore throat and all that. I started to notice my back was, um, I don't know if I'd call it not recovering, or it was just more sore after workouts. Um, it was starting to become an issue in the morning. I'd feel stiffness, and I was like, this is annoying. Like, I have to spend an extra couple minutes stretching to feel good and get this like almost lubricated for the day. The morning workouts were requiring another five, and this wasn't a gradual thing. It was like all of a sudden, um, over the course of 3 to 5 days, like, oh, now my back is severely limiting me. Didn't get better, didn't get better, didn't get better. And just like really confused. Tried to stretch, tried to hang upside down on my inversion table, do all the things, and just continued to not really let me do what I wanted to do. And so that leaked into, oh, last week around the time I recorded the podcast. And warming up in my workouts for a good 10 to 15 minutes most of the time would get me to a spot where I was loose and I was feeling okay, and the adrenaline was running, and the back pain was sort of minimized. I didn't really feel it um, for as long as I was working out, and then basically right after I got done working out, I put the stuff away and I went inside. It would come back. So I was managing it for a week or so, and then beginning of this week, it got to the point where I had a bad day Saturday because I tried to push it, and I was just like, okay, screw it. I'm not working out. I'm not going to hurt my back any more than it already is sore. Sunday, full rest day. Monday, we get up and it still doesn't feel better. Um, we did some things on Monday and Tuesday that were conducive to what I was able to do, and still wasn't getting better. Yesterday, Wednesday, I basically quit a workout because, well, yesterday, Wednesday, I decided I'm not doing any lifting. I'm not going to touch a weight. We're going to see if we can recover from this thing and get healthy again. Um, and we'll just do cardio. We're just going to do a long ass EMOM, the good old EMOM. Go check out episode whatever about why EMOMs are the best workouts. I was going to do a 40-minute EMOM and some skill work. I was going to do some bar muscle ups and 5 sets of 10, rest 2 minutes in between, and got those done. On the last set of bar muscle ups, I just absolutely demolished my hand. You can see it if you're watching the YouTube version, but I ripped it up pretty good. And that felt great. Basically, I had gotten all my muscle up work done, and then I was like, okay, screw it. I think I can still get through this EMOM, this cardio. I'm going to get on the bike. I'm going to get on the rower. I'm going to do some burpees, and I'm going to do some jump rope. I thought that I could work around the tear in my hand. Turns out holding the rower handle, holding the pedal, the handle of the bike, holding the jump rope, um, burpees, funny enough, I could like cup my hand and make sure that the torn part didn't touch the ground every time. I just couldn't do the EMOM. I got 8 minutes in, and I legitimately about threw my jump rope down in frustration, like a fucking little kid having a fit. I was pissed. I was sweating, uh, and I just quit. I could not continue to do the workout. And even now in this podcast, as I yawn through it, um, you can kind of hear how I'm all over the place. I'm kind of out of sorts, and I'm frustrated because this is essentially, I would say, like, we're probably going on 2 weeks now where training just hasn't been ideal, all the way going back to basically when I was sick. Um, and it feels like as an athlete who's trying to push forward and get better, and at the rate that I am trying to do things and get stronger and get more fit and all this stuff, because of the condensed timeline that I've put on myself to compete in CrossFit, it feels like every day has to be massive, multiple steps forward. Or I'm just not, like, or the day is wasted, right? Um, not not wasted, but I didn't capitalize. I didn't reach my potential on that day because other people are getting better, and there's already so many people that are ahead of me. So that's really frustrating mentally and hard to deal with. I mean, I'm not. I'll be fine. Right, life's gonna be okay. Life is actually great, but when it comes to my training specifically in pursuit of CrossFit goals, it does feel like the last 2 weeks could have been better, and I could have gotten a lot better. I could have been in a way better spot at standing here today recording this podcast, um, if those 2 weeks had gone differently, and I'd be a little bit fitter. I'd be a little bit stronger. Instead, I stand here with a hand that is torn to shreds. I haven't done really any legitimate lifting or strength work. Um, in a good almost 6 days. I did a little bit of Olympic lifting on Monday and Tuesday. That was good technique work. It was medium weight, but no heavy squats, no heavy deadlifts in almost a week. Um, and not because I don't want to, but because I simply my body will not allow me to. Um, I don't believe that I've hurt my back. I don't think I have an injury. I think that I've overtrained it. Uh, or a in my specific case, I am very hypermobile. I have great positioning. I have great flexibility, and sometimes that can actually get me in trouble because um, at the end ranges of that mobility, at the very, very bottom of a squat, I can go ass to grass and still keep my chest up and my low back arched so well that under massive loads, 315 pounds, 335, 365, 400 for a rep. In those weight ranges for squat, when I go down to the bottom and I press out of the hole, I'm literally straining the stability that I have at that end range of motion. Um, I'm so flexible that I'm not tight enough in that turnaround position that I've got a acquaintance who's a performance PT, and me and him had a conversation, and he basically said what's happening is I'm so flexible that my body allows me to get into positions without having the um, allows me to get into positions when I'm tired, when I'm not fully braced, which a lot of people can't do. Their body won't allow them into position. But for me, I can still get there, and then uh, the musculature, the muscles are too tired to brace, and so what's happening is my lower back muscles are starting to just stack on top of each other and get real tight to create that pressure, to create that bracing for the weight under heavy load, which is not good. And I am definitely feeling the effects of it. And it's basically left me unable to do any weight. I believe that with stretching, rest, mobility work, and time, basically, that it will just kind of fix itself and I can get back to normal. Um, and that's where this hard reset comes in. I basically have to, yesterday was call it a day off. I did 5 sets of muscle ups and 8 minutes of cardio. Um, Today was going to be a normal active recovery day anyway. I am going to ride the Peloton. I can sit on a bike and move my legs, and that does not hurt at all. There's nothing that I have to support with my torso or my back. So it's going to be a Peloton ride today. Tomorrow, Friday, would usually be a massive training day. And guess what? I am not going to do a damn thing but ride the bike again. I'm going to ride the Peloton for, I don't know how long, 60, 75 minutes, and crush myself as good as I can on a Peloton. No weight, not even going to go into the garage. Friday night, we leave. We're going to be gone Saturday. No workout Saturday. Sunday, rest day. No workout Sunday. Hopefully, with basically 5 full days of rest from touching a single weight, my back will start to agree with me again a little bit more. And as a quote unquote elite athlete, someone who's training at a professional level, volume wise, over the course of a week, mentally, that is hard as hell. Um, you start to believe that if you don't follow your training schedule, you miss something that was scheduled or on paper, that all of a sudden you're now getting worse. You immediately get worse. You're immediately going to lose muscle. You're going to start gaining fat. You're going to get out of shape immediately. You're going to lose strength, all this stuff. And you have to understand that that is not the case. And I'm literally, as I tell you guys this, I'm telling myself this as well. It's like a self-affirmation fucking pity party over here. Um, Here's the reality is that you will not lose muscle, any kind of significant muscle mass for probably 10 days of inactivity. Um, and that's like real inactivity, right? I'm still going to be on the bike. I'm still going to be walking around. I've got a standing desk. I'm not being totally sedentary. I'll go on a few walks during these rest days. I'm going to be active on Saturday, big time. Uh, you are not going to lose muscle for about 10 days. In fact, probably the best study there is out there did a bedridden study, I believe, of, I don't know, some patients who had to be bedridden for something. They did not start to lose muscle mass for 7 days bedridden. They weren't, I mean, they were under complete um no movement, full sedentary, didn't have to support their weight of their skeletal system at all, right? They weren't even up out of bed on their feet, which is a huge part of it. And it still took them an entire week, 7 days to start to see muscle loss. So me, over a 4 or 5 day stretch in which I'm still going to be on the Peloton once or twice, I'll be okay. I'm not going to lose anything. When it comes to strength, we're looking at probably 2 weeks to maybe even 3 weeks, 14 to 20 days where you're going to start to see actual significant strength loss, right? And physical fitness, you're going to lose out on let's see. I'm going to do the math quick. Not any math actually. Significant reductions in VO2 max, which would be basically your lung capacity, right? So I'm going over all the things that sort of matter in fitness: strength, muscle mass, lung ability, VO2 max, cardiorespiratory ability. Significant reductions in VO2 max occur within 2 to 4 weeks of detraining. Highly trained individuals, which I would probably fall under, might lose anywhere from 4 to 14% in this time. So call it in the middle somewhere, 7 to 10%, which is a lot. That's a lot. But that's also if you don't do a single piece of aerobic training for 2 to 4 weeks. And arguably, the aerobic side of things will suffer less for me because I am going to bust ass on the Peloton a couple days. So we're basically looking at a situation where I could take 2 weeks off, 2 full weeks of a hard reset, and I'm going to be just fine, or you're going to be just fine. You cannot, this is the whole point of this. Sometimes you have to listen to your body. This is probably, gosh, this is probably the first time I've ever been forced by my body into a hard reset. Um, in the last, basically since I've been out of college, 5 years. And that's probably also why it's harder because I've always just been able to train, go, go, go. I've probably taken a hard reset at the exact right time 2 times in the last 5 years of training. And sometimes it's just what you need. You're going to be okay, and in fact, you're gonna be better because if I keep trying to do half-ass workouts, grabbing weights that are making me feel pain, which is gonna induce poor form, struggling through any sort of exercise I try to do mentally and just feeling shitty about it, all of this is going to lead to prolonged, um, submaximal, uh, or I guess sub potential effort. I'm going to prolong the period of time or the time that comes where I'm going to be 100% another 2, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, a month, how many months that I could just sit there and do that, as opposed to if I just take a step back and just, you know, give in, do the hard reset, I'll be better most likely in a couple weeks. I'll be back to 100% and then I can start going hard again. Sometimes that's just hard to get through your skull though. Sometimes you have to take a hard reset. And things to be super important, super focused on that are super important during a hard reset where you're not going to be doing the training that you want to do. Hydration becomes a bigger factor. Nutrition and consistency with your diet becomes an even more important factor. And non-exercise activity, standing at a desk while you work, going for walks, going up and down the stairs every half hour or hour to move your legs, stuff like that also becomes super imperative so that you can get as much movement throughout the day and total volume movement as you can, because you're going to be decreasing that intentional exercise. So, things to think about. If you've ever found yourself in a spot like this, or maybe you find yourself in a spot like this right now, again, it could be with exercise, it could be with work or something else. Sometimes you just have to take the hard reset. Take a step back so that you can soon take a couple more steps forward instead of just staying where you're at. So that's what we got today. Basically, me complaining about how my back hurts and how I don't get to work out, how privileged I am. That's it. We'll talk next week. Until then, peace.